Feel like I'm at Gates with this jazz music. All right, it's Tuesday, and this is your host of the Source of the Inkwell, Tyrone Gethers Jr., live on KUAW, Kansas City's global community radio station. KUAW stands for Knowledge, Understanding, and Wisdom. You can listen to this broadcast on KUAW.org, the TuneIn app, Facebook. If you go to KUAW/LPFM 98.5, it'll pop right up and you'll be able to see and hear us, as well as on YouTube. Just type in KUAW Radio. You'll see the live box, and you'll be able to see the show as well. And also, you'll be able to look at other shows that are archived on Facebook as well. If you want to give us a phone call, hit us up at 816-599-6893, or email us at kuaw985@gmail.com. I also want to thank everyone last week who gave during the KUAW's first ever radiothon. We were on the air for 4 straight hours. It was a long night, but we were able to get in some funds from our loving and loyal supporters and viewers. That was you, and we really appreciate you all for that. The more and more you all donate, the more and more KUAW is able to provide more shows like this one, as well as other shows on our network as well. So I do invite you all to go to KUAW.org, look at the calendar, and see if there's any other shows that you might gravitate towards, and also be a fan of that show and support. Today, I have a new friend of mine that I met last year at an open mic night. This is Miss Angela Appleby. How you doing?
All right.
And I know she may be a little nervous today, but it's okay. It's just two people talking on the microphone in front of the whole world. But
The whole world, thank you.
but we first met at the Writer's Place at New Year's Eve, and you were reciting poetry during the open mic night, right?
Yes.
Okay. And I found out that through your open mic piece that you were working on a book.
Yes.
Okay. And that's why we're here today.
Yes.
And what is the name of your book?
Memoirs of a Birth Mother.
Memoirs of a Birth Mother. I'm trying to set this up so people who can able to check this out and see the cover of it if it's a stand. If not, there we go. Let's do it like this. Yeah. I want everybody to see the cover of your book so you can go and check it out. All right. So, Memoirs of a Birth Mother. How long did it take you to write it?
About a year and a half.
A year and a half.
It's a long process, yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And let's talk about this cover right here of the book. I mean, 'cause it's a very nice cover, very, very nurturing cover. What's going on here?
Well, the book is about me giving my child up for adoption 22 years ago. And that is me and her on the cover. And the whole book is like another baby of mine.
Right.
I went through a lot of emotions came up and stuff through the book, but I wanted the cover to stand out and honor her. And I think I did a pretty good job.
And this is an actual photo.
This is an actual photo. I actually just tweaked it on my phone. And then I found a free website that did the border around it.
Oh, yeah, that's dope. Yeah, because you'd be surprised how much people will pay to do a cover of a book.
Yeah, it took me a long time to figure out how to do it, but once I got that, I was like, yeah, we're done. I'm not doing anything else exactly how I wanted it. So.
Well, I mean, the picture, you know when they say a picture's worth 1,000 words?
Yes.
I mean, here it is right here.
Yes,
Yeah.
and that was the hope. So when people see it in the store or online, they're like, oh my God, I have to have this.
Or on the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the show.
You have to have this.
Yes.
Now let's talk about. Now you said that your inspiration for the book was you gave up your daughter for adoption 22 years ago.
Yes. I actually, it started out because I started a blog almost 4 years ago. Wow, it's been 4 years. And the blog I just do random things here and there. Sometimes a poem, sometimes a short story. A lot of it is real life stuff, and I actually started trying to write my autobiography about my life, and too many things came up that I wasn't ready to face yet. And so I actually started doing a personal vlog once a week on the process and everything I went through with giving her up. And I actually had somebody after like my second one like, why aren't you making this a book? And I'm like, why aren't I making this book? So here it is.
Yeah, because I'm looking on the back, and you said, I mean, we'd be surprised how many people had to go through this.
Right. And my thing is, there's also a lot of stigma on, oh, I've even had family members, oh, you had to be on drugs, you had to be, you didn't want her. That's not the case. And I finally, I think, healed enough from it that I wanted to share my story and let people know that it's not always about you're being on drugs or you not wanting the child. Sometimes it's not being able to raise them the way they need to be raised and loving them enough to be able to provide them with a family that can.
Right.
And so, I mean, there was a lot of stuff I went through with her father, a lot of stuff from my childhood because I grew up in an abusive home. And so it touches on a lot of that in the book. And basically from the time I got pregnant till like a year or two after I gave her up, because another thing people don't realize is when you give a child up, I've been through a lot of stuff in my life. To this day, it is the single most hardest thing I've ever had to do in my life. And I did it alone. And I didn't feel I had the family to support, to be behind me. And later I found out I didn't. And so I wanted other people to know my story because my story matters. And if I can help one person out there that's debating giving their child up, and if I can help them clarify things for them, or someone that's already given their child up and is going through the couple years I went through after giving her up, the hell I went through, I'm just letting them know with this book, you're not alone.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned that when you gave her up, you wanted your daughter to have a better home.
I wanted her unscathed from everything that I had been through, including with her father. And I wanted her untouched by everything.
Right.
And so I went through the process, met a family. I love them. I almost wanted them to adopt me because they were great. And I knew from the moment I met them, this was the family that was going to raise my daughter. And we kept in contact. I got pictures every 3 months. It was very hard watching her being raised through pictures, but at the same time, I knew she was okay. I knew she was safe. To this day, I know it's still the right decision because she's had an amazing life.
Yeah. And you talk about, now, I know in the book, and I know before we got on the show, I want to let our listeners and viewers know that before we got on the air, I asked Angela if it was okay to ask her anything about the book, and you did say it was okay.
Yes.
Right. So I don't want anyone thinking that I'm prying or digging or anything. Right. I wanted to make that disclaimer because I don't want people thinking that, oh wow, he's getting real personal. Right. But when you could you describe how it was when you actually had to give your daughter to the other family?
And I've been going over in my head today this interview for a couple weeks now. Yeah. And last night it hit me. I remember going through I was going through the motions that day. But the thing I remember most is I was up all night because I actually had her with me. I was going to the adoption place myself with her, just the two of us, to give her up. And I remember the sun coming up through the blinds in the apartment window, and it was in Albuquerque. There's beautiful mountains, beautiful sunny day coming up, and that is what I remember the most, is this beautiful, sunny, beautiful, gorgeous day, and I felt nothing. Like it was like I had to shut myself down to know what I was going to do.
Right.
And I went with her to the adoption place, actually the lawyers, signed the papers, and I cried all the way home.
Of course. I mean, yeah. Wow. I mean, this is probably the deepest interview that I ever had on the show. And it's good because, I mean, you never know what your story can do for someone else.
Right.
Because there are a lot of people that go through this. I mean, you'd be surprised. Wow. So, and you said that your daughter was with this family for 22 years.
Well, they raised her. And
Well, they
then
raised her.
She actually joined the Army out of high school at 18, so she's been pretty much out on her own since then.
Okay.
But they're still mom and dad to her. I think I'm the bonus mom because
Okay.
we talk and...
Okay, so you do talk to her now.
Right.
Great.
Almost every day I think we text. And it brings me a source of comfort because I think if any of the things that had changed, any of those events, one of those events had changed, we wouldn't be where we are today.
Of course. Now, when did you? Now you said. Now I know earlier in the interview, you said that every 3 months you got pictures. When did you actually have the contact with your daughter? Hey, I'm your mom, your birth mom.
Well, they had been telling her. She knew all along that she was adopted.
Oh, okay.
It was a very open adoption, which that's another thing I wanted to bring up. People that are contemplating giving up a child for adoption, there's a stigma on that they see the old ways of things. You give them up and have no contact. Whereas when I went through, it was an open adoption. You got to actually pick the parameters of how many times you get pictures, and if I'd had the money, because I moved here shortly after, and she was in Albuquerque. So if I had went and visited her once, but if I had the money, I would have went and visited all the time. I mean, Albuquerque's beautiful, so and it's desert all year round. So, but yeah, she's known her whole life. And when she hit 18, I was actually on my way to work, and I had already given them the permission to give her my information because we didn't know last names, we didn't know phone numbers, addresses, nothing like that for legal reasons. And I was on my way to work, and she called me out of the blue, and she had gotten the information, and I was like, I'm on my way to work, but I wanted to skip work so bad, but I couldn't. And shortly after that, she went into the military, so we didn't really start bonding and having a relationship till after she was out of basic. So, but yeah.
That's cool. I'm glad that you all were able to reconnect, and it was like, just picking up where you left off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. And now I want to. I mean, you showed me something earlier, and I'm like, well, I'm going to say it. There's an added bonus to your daughter.
Right.
And what is the added bonus?
She just made me a grandmother.
Okay.
I still feel like I'm too young, but it's a blessing to have her in my life and now my grandbaby.
Yeah.
And it's every day I thank God that it's worked out, because that was always a fear in the back of my mind that she's going to grow up and be like, well, she gave me up, I don't want anything to do with her.
Yeah.
And that happens, and so I consider myself lucky that I may be one of the few that gets to have that relationship.
Yeah. Wow. And I'm sure that writing this book, Memoirs of a Birth Mother, was a cathartic experience for you.
Yes. There's a lot of demons that came with this book. A lot of demons. I had a very tumultuous relationship with her father. It was physical. And it was not great at all. And I was a dumb kid. Thought I was in love.
Yeah.
But something happened in the middle of this book that I hadn't realized that I had been holding on to all those demons until I started writing this. And it was literally like, once I was like the end, it was like, they're gone. And it helps that I have that relationship with her too, because as a mother that gave your child up, you can't know that it will haunt you for the rest of your life if you allow it to. And for years and years and years, I let it haunt me, and I didn't realize. I thought I had let it go. But every time I got pictures, I would be in the fetal position in the corner crying. Every time I thought about her, I would cry for a long, long time, many years. And this book helped soothe all that. And it quelled a lot of my demons, my past demons that I had.
Yeah, and that's the blessing with writing or doing some type of art. And that's why I really am a firm believer of having the arts in schools, because being able to sit down and write, all the things that are going on with you out on paper, you feel so much better. Or being able to dance, or being able to play an instrument, or being able to act or recite poetry. That's why it's important for parents to let their children explore the arts, because arts is therapy.
Yes.
It is very therapeutic what we do.
Yes, it is.
And I think that's one thing people kind of fail to get away of, because just because people can pack a football stadium or a basketball court and watch kids throw a ball down a field or shoot one in a hoop, that's cool.
Right.
But also we need to get behind these kids that are doing artistic things also, because not only are they sharing their art, they're also sharing with you how they are getting over whatever it is that is messing with them.
Right.
So if anyone watching, if you're any kind of official in school, please strengthen your arts programs. Because we're trying, we need it.
Well, I actually had an experience my senior year of high school. We had a counselor come. They paid him tons of money to come and ask what our interests were and what we wanted to do with our life. And I've known I wanted to be a writer since I could write my own name at like 5 or 6. And I told him I want to be a writer, and he laughed at me. He said, "You need to find something that makes you money. Forget about it." And what I say to that right now is, no one really knows who I am at this moment, but I'm moving in that direction.
The important people don't.
I'm writing. I'm doing it. It took me many years, but I'm doing it. So if you have a passion for writing or art of any kind, don't let anybody stand in your way. Don't let anybody tell you you can't do it, because I'm proof you can.
And what's this teacher's name again?
I don't know. It was a long time ago.
well, teacher, we want to shout you out. She wrote a book. It's Memoirs of a Birth Mother. She wrote a book. She's sitting right here talking about it. And I don't know. And you can see you're not here. So, but it's good that we have these stories like that, because like I tell my students, it's okay to have bad role models, because bad role models do one of two things: they show you what not to be, and they motivate you to be better than them.
Right.
And he did his job, and here you are.
Right.
Now, where can people find your book?
On Amazon. It's in ebook form and paperback.
Okay.
It's also on Barnes & Noble as ebook only. But yeah, Amazon and paperback. I encourage you to get the paperback. There's nothing like a book in your hand.
Yeah, you're right. Paperback is always good. Because your electronics can fail.
Yes.
And the book is right here in your hand.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And I love the smell of paper when I'm reading.
Yes. And here's my favorite part of the book. Hearing the pages turn. Here it is, Mr. Walker. And is it okay to ask the price of your book?
Paperback is $12.99.
Okay.
Ebook is $5.99.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's only the $12.99 because I've got large print on there.
Yeah.
But a lot of people are saying that they prefer that. So
yeah, well, $12.99. Instead of going out and buying some fast food, you can go out and buy a good book.
And it is a really good read.
Yeah.
I actually had a book reading back in May.
Okay.
At Steele's Used Books.
Mm-hmm.
They do open mic poetry there. Few times a month. So stop on by. But I had a reading there, May 12th. It was the day before Mother's Day. I actually have a full chapter in there on my first Mother's Day after giving her up, which was horrible for me. But, and it was very cathartic to have that reading the day before Mother's Day. And I totally forgot my train of thought, what I was saying.
That's all right. Now, are you going to have another book signing?
I don't know.
'Cause I think it'd be cool to have a book signing before the Writers' Place closes. Yeah. I don't know. Have it there or have it somewhere else. It's always good to, I don't know. Yeah. I wouldn't mind swinging.
I'm still new at all this.
Yeah.
I thought, okay, the hard part's done. I've written the book. And now like, no, the hard part's just beginning.
The hard part's selling the book. Yeah, that's the hard part.
Sell yourself and the book.
Right. And
nobody knows me really, so I'm slowly.
Well, they know you now because this video is streaming on your Facebook page. It's streaming on my Facebook page. It's streaming on KUAW's Facebook page. I know some of my friends shared it because I got friends that share it, and it's on. Yeah, we had 2 shares already,
Awesome.
and it's on YouTube, and it's on KUAW's page, and it's on. Yeah, so yeah, people. Yeah, they're
Okay.
yeah they're hearing you, and they're also looking at the title of your book, Memoirs of a Birth Mother by Angela Appleby. At Barnes and Noble and on Amazon.
Yes.
Yes. And has your daughter read the book yet?
She read the first draft, the first really when I was finally done.
Mhm.
And then I went back. I've edited it like 30 times, but
Yeah.
she read the first rough draft, and then I think I sent her the last chapter because the last chapter is because I have 2 sons with my husband.
Mm.
Last year on my birthday, they got to go meet her, and we got to see each other, and the best birthday gift I've ever had in my life.
Yeah.
But there's a whole the last chapter is all about them 3, and it's funny because I would literally be sitting off in the background just watching them with my camera and my phone,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, it's I feel like I'm a mother made whole
Yes.
by these 3 being together and interacting, and they actually had some of the same mannerisms. It was hilarious to watch because I'm like, they act like they've known each other forever, like their whole lives. And it was an amazing day for me.
That's good. I'm glad to hear that. I'm definitely glad to hear that. And I'm glad to hear that, your daughter checked it out and she's digging it, and yeah, that's cool. But let's take a quick break. Now, when we come back, I want to actually talk about the book writing process. Because, there are a lot of people out there that are trying to write books and they need to know. But there is one thing that you did say
I'm
that
still learning.
you still, oh yeah, it's all good. We learn, the good thing about an airplane flying, as if it, while it's still being built, is that the plane is still flying. So yeah, it's gonna be all right.
All right.
But yeah, you did mention one thing. You said 30. You wrote multiple drafts. I'm gonna touch on that too when we get back from our little break.
Okay.
All right. So Facebook Live, YouTube, keep watching. Radio Land. We'll be back. All right, we are back after that short break. This is Tyrone Gethers Jr., your host of The Source of Inkwell on KUAW, Knowledge, Understanding, and Wisdom, Kansas City's global community radio station. You can listen to this broadcast on KUAW.org or the TuneIn app. Just type in KUAW, will pop right up. If you want to view this show as well as listen to it, you can go to YouTube, type in KUAW, you'll see the live button, click that, and we are there. As well as go into Facebook and type in KUAW-LPFM 98.5, and you will actually see us and hear us also on that module as well. You can email us your questions, comments, concerns at KUAW95@gmail.com. During this broadcast or any other broadcast, you can hit us up at 816-599-6893. I do want to say that this broadcast is being underwritten by Mommy and Son T-shirts and other gifts. You can hit them up on Facebook or on Instagram. Mommy and Son. Thank you all for underwriting this broadcast. Oh, and one more thing about money. I do want to thank all the individuals who gave and donated to KUAW. It was a blessing to be blessed by you, for you to share your love to us, for us to continue to grow this radio station, to bring more programming to you, and programming not only for you, but programming by you as well. So please continue to keep donating, and we'll keep putting on quality shows like this one and all the other shows on this day and other days as well. Please go to KUAW.org, look at the calendar, and see some of the other wonderful shows that we have. We have broadcasting shows every day of the week. So I think it should be something on there for the young and for the mature. So to my immediate left, I have Miss Angela Appleby. She is the author of Memoirs of a Birth Mother. So welcome back.
Thank you.
Yes, and so far, I want to read some of the comments that we have on Facebook. We have "I love you" from Jason Appleby. I'm assuming that is your.
My husband.
Okay, all right.
It better be on there.
Yeah. We got some hellos on here from the Walkers. We have Tracy Parker Warren said hello. Your husband said everyone needs to buy this book and read it because he's read it as well. We also have Brandy Kaufman just waved at you. You know who that is?
Yes, I work with her.
Okay.
Hi, Brandy.
All right.
Thank you for watching.
Yeah, so we have a lot of good comments on here. We have people watching as well. So if you're watching this video, please share the video. Please continue to promote this video because this book is something that I want to get into and read as well because you're talking about some deep stuff.
Yes.
Refresh everyone who probably just came in on the second half of this hour on what the gist of your book is about.
It's about the trials I went through in giving my daughter up for adoption 22 years ago. And that's her and I on the cover when she was born.
All right.
And I actually have a couple of people that told me when I did my reading because, like I said, I had a very bad relationship with her father, that said this would be good for any 14, 15, 16-year-old girl because it tells them what the signs are of a bad relationship, too. So it's kind of a 2 or 3 things mixed in there that you could get a message from, and that's what I like about it.
So you would recommend upper middle school, high school students read your book?
Yeah. Well as adults, too, because, like I said, there's so much stigma around giving your child up for adoption. I can't even tell you how many horrible looks I got for years from people I didn't even know that found out I given my child up, and they looked at me like I was Satan.
Yeah, they're being judgmental, and they don't know, and they don't know the situation.
Right, they didn't know the story. They didn't know what happened. They just, how could you? You should have made, and I've actually been told you made your bed. You should have lined in it. Well, my thing is, I'm being the best parent I can, giving my child a future, giving her a home, and just because I didn't raise her doesn't mean I don't love her. Doesn't mean I didn't want the best for her, because that's, in the end, that's all good parents want for their kids is the best for them.
And plus, who are they to judge,
Right.
Yeah, people kill me with that. They sit up here and they live in glass houses.
Yeah,
I mean, you're probably in there doing all kind of crazy stuff, and you want to sit up here and
and
try to judge somebody and wag your finger. Well, you know what they say about wagging a finger? You eventually, it's gonna eventually fall off. And then what you gonna do?
Right.
Because all you do is wag your finger, and when it's gone, what you gonna do? Yeah,
I can't afford to wag my finger. It's my work, my right.
I can't either. I can't
I
afford
write
to.
with this hand. I can't afford to
Right.
use it.
I can't afford to throw any rocks. Really, none of us do.
No.
Now, let's talk about this book writing process. Now, you said you wrote multiple drafts of your book.
I wrote the book, the
Mhm.
meat. I basically wrote, when I did it, I wrote like the first draft. And then I read it, and then I'm like, oh, I can change this here, I can change this here. And I think a lot of it was procrastinating because I actually saw on a TV show not that long ago, she was trying to become a writer, and she kept writing draft after draft after draft, and her husband's like, it's, why are you doing this? The book is good. And she said, well, as long as I don't publish it, I'm still a writer.
Yeah.
And because if it fails, I'm not a writer anymore. And so that's kind of how I felt during the process. So I think that's part of why I did so many drafts.
Mm-hmm.
But I would read something and be like, oh, I need to add this, or I need to add this. And it became a thing for a while. Editing several times.
And you self-edit?
Yes, I did. Actually have add-on on Chrome, Grammarly.
Mm-hmm.
It helps with punctuation and all that. I recommend that to everybody because
Grammarly,
it's amazing.
Yeah.
And then I actually self-published through Amazon, and it's KDP Publishing. It's amazing because it basically sets you through step by step on what to do. So if you're a newbie like me and don't have any clue what you're doing, that's the way to go.
Yeah, and a lot of people talk about self-publishing over actually going through a publisher. I know I tried going through a big publisher, and the young lady, she's very knowledgeable, but she wanted to charge me like $10,000 to publish a book of only 13 pages, 13 poems. I'm like, well, and she said, well, y'all should see Mr. Walker's face. She was like, well, yeah, we gotta get it out there. I said, okay, what you talking about? She said, you need a website, and I said, man, I don't want all that. I said, I'm low key. I'm just fine with the book being published, and I have copies to sell. And she was like, well, I want you to, she was telling me what she wanted me to do with my book.
Right.
And that told me that I kind of got to watch who I work with because will I be giving away too much?
Right.
So I self-published mine as well. And, I would agree with that. I'm not saying all publishers are bad. I know there are a lot of great publishers out there. I'm just saying you got to, kind of got to watch certain folk.
Well, I was actually in turmoil over this for about 3-4 months. And I sought out publishers, and I actually got burned by a couple that were, oh, we're not going to charge you this, or we're not going to charge you this, we're not going to charge you that. And then when they got the book and looked at it, it was like, oh, it's $5,000. And I'm like, what? I can publish on Amazon for free. And so that's where I decided to go ahead and do the self-publishing, and I'm like, at least it's out there. I may not be making any money at it right now, but it's out there for people to buy.
Right, exactly. Then also, I think, like I tell people, I talked to, I didn't talk, I listened to him, H&R Block, the original. He said, you don't, if you do stuff just to get rich, you won't be successful.
Right.
Do stuff because you love it. Do stuff to help people out.
And that's my other reasoning for self-publishing, because people need to hear the story.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if I ever make money at it at this point. People need to hear the story.
Yes.
Because it's the do's and don'ts of relationships. It's proof that you can go through something horrifying that you never found yourself, a situation you would never have found yourself in, and you survived it. You lived it. I didn't let it break me down. I managed to pull myself off the floor and move on. And I think that is the big message I wanted to get this book out there with, is to let people know doing the hardest thing you're ever going to do, giving your child up for adoption and watching them being raised through pictures. It is the hardest thing you're ever going to do.
Yeah.
But there is a light at the end of the tunnel. You can survive it.
Mm. And your husband was saying, when I read this book, it was like a movie you can't stop watching. I read it all in one setting.
He did.
Yeah, I can believe it. I mean, because when you got something good, you don't want to put it down.
Right.
You know.
And he doesn't read, so that's a testament that I might be a good writer. If
Yeah.
if he actually
If you picked up and
kept
read
his
the book,
interest.
yeah,
Yes.
definitely. And so, I'm glad that you mentioned the whole draft writing piece because I have a lot of students. Well, of course I do. I teach, and when we do writing, they think that they got it right the first time. I'm like,
No.
no, you don't have it right the first time. You got to keep working at it. Like, for example, you gotta keep nurturing it. You gotta keep, playing around with it, putting things in, taking things out, changing it up, because it's a reflection of you.
Right.
And one kid said, "Well, how many drafts do you do?" I said, "Well, I know one writer. They do 7 drafts. That's like their minimum." I said, "But really, to be honest, you can't put a number on drafts. But at the same time, you gotta be more than one.
Right.
Because
Well, like that, it was like one chapter I would read, and then I'm like, ooh, I can add this, I can add that, and before I knew it, I was rewriting again. And so it's, for me, this being my baby, I could sit there and probably rewrite and rewrite forever.
of course,
Because to me, it will never be quite perfect.
mm-hmm.
But I got the gist of it out there for everybody
Yeah.
that needs to hear the story. So.
Yeah, I remember someone was asking me, well, what is it like being a writer? And I said, well, think about, when you're writing something, there's always something you can change.
Right.
That's kind of like when you see a sculptor or a painter. If they're looking at their own work, there's always something they can just change and tweak. Like, I guarantee you, like, if I saw my book in the bookstore, I'd be like, you know what, I could have wrote that better, or I could have changed that. Because you're always editing because it's
Right.
yours. You're always critiquing your own work. I mean, it never stops.
Right.
Even if it is published, it's still not stopping because you still can add
Right.
more to it. And your husband gave you a touche. He said he reads blueprints.
It's not the same thing as a book.
Well, it's still reading.
Yeah.
I'm
I
not
guess.
gonna,
I
I'm
guess.
split. I'm split. Yeah. Now, when you did your book reading
Right.
for your book, what were some of the reactions that you got from the audience?
I was really nervous. And my daughter came to the reading all the way from Texas. She was 5 months pregnant at the time. And it was very nerve-wracking sitting there reading about the horrors of my past
Mm-hmm.
and what I went through with her sitting in the audience. And I had expressed how nervous I was prior to, and the bookstore owner was like, I wouldn't have changed anything. You did great.
Right.
And they're like, I don't think anybody had a dry eye because it was so heartfelt. It's like we were all there with you, giving her up. And so that made me feel good.
So yeah, you kept it organic.
Right.
Yeah. Small favor for you. We have your book, Memoirs of a Birth Mother, right in front of us. Is there a favorite section in the book?
Oh, you can't do that. There's like 4 or 5.
Okay.
The last chapter is probably my favorite, though.
Last chapter. Okay. Do you mind reading a section of your book?
Sure.
A small piece. I don't want you to give it away because I still want people to go on Amazon and also on Barnes & Noble to buy this book. $12.99 hardback, $5.99 ebook. Rather you get $12.99, not because it costs more, because it's nostalgic to actually hold a book in your hand.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. And I already touched on this, so I'm not giving nothing away because
Right.
it's when I met my daughter last year with
Okay.
my boys.
Okay.
Today I am 41, and for the first time in my life, I feel a peace I've never known. I feel a completeness I've never known before as I watch all 3 of my children interact. Tears threaten to fall as I sit back and observe this moment, watching the 3 loves of my life speak to one another as if they've been doing it all their lives. It is a moment that is now imprinted into my heart and mind forever. I began this book as a purge, if you will. Along the way, I found pieces of myself I thought lost to me. I learned to let the past go and stop holding on to the sheer guilt I felt over giving my daughter up for adoption 21 years ago. I originally ended the book when her father contacted me on Mother's Day. I felt that the book had come full circle, and after confronting him about the past, I felt a freedom I had never felt before. Yet today is a different story. Today is my birthday, and for the first time in my life, I've gotten exactly what I wanted for my birthday. My daughter and my 2 sons are together. There are no words to what I feel today. I have caught myself just sitting and watching the 3 of them, and I know this moment is mine and mine alone. Sheer joy courses through my veins as I realize how lucky I am. All the past pains, all the hurts of everything I've gone through have simply vanished in this moment. I am a mother made whole by the joining together of these 3 children, and I doubt even they will ever understand just how great this birthday gift really is. Every once in a while, I catch myself becoming breathless at the sight of them, talking, laughing, and joking as if they have all known each other forever, when just a few short hours ago, they had never even met. Even some of their mannerisms are the same, and I just smile at this, as this is all me. I find it ironic that in the time it has taken me to write this book, my past has indeed come full circle. In just the past few months, I was faced with her father, a man that after 21 years assumed we could just pick up where we left off, minus the daughter, of course. Looking at her now, I will never understand his reluctance to see her or even want any part of her. She is beautiful, she is smart, and she is kind. She is the best version of me that I could have ever hoped for. She is the version of me I would like to think I had I not been dealt such a shitty hand in the parent department. All I can say is in this moment, I don't care that her father isn't here to see how wonderful she turned out to be. I wouldn't want to share this moment with anyone. As we walk along, I feel a lightness in my heart that has never been there. I feel so many emotions, and it is the best feeling in the world. I explained to her that just because I gave someone else the authority to raise her didn't mean I don't love her and consider her my daughter. She is and always will be the very first love of my life. No one will ever replace the love I have for her. My love for her is the thing I held on to in my darkest hours. It is the thing that brought me back from the brink of disaster so many times. It is the thing I will cherish until my last breath. The recent events brought my daughter and I a little closer, which is all I ever wanted. She is grown now and capable of making her own decisions, and I do hope that her father will come around. If not, I rejoice in the fact that over 21 years ago, I was faced with the hardest decision a mother could make. And even though it has been a long, rocky road for me, I now know it was still the right decision. With her very first breath, my daughter saved me, and while I couldn't raise her, she has never strayed far from my thoughts. Because of her, I strove to be braver, stronger, smarter. You may see me as just a birth mother, but she taught me that I am so much more. I am a fighter, a survivor, a warrior. And even though she took a little piece of me the day she was born, she has helped me find a whole other part of me I never knew. So thank you, Sarah, for being my daughter. Thank you for giving me the title. Only a select few are worthy of the name. I'm simply Mother.
Now that is well written.
Thank you.
Yeah, well written. I mean, I actually saw you sitting there and talking to her.
Good.
When you were reading that. That's very powerful. That's an extremely powerful piece of your book.
Thank you.
Wow. Man, that's...
So yeah, there's a whole lot more in there.
Yeah,
Everybody needs to buy it.
Yeah, they do. They do. And where can they get it again?
Amazon.com.
And where else?
And Barnes & Noble.
Nationwide?
Yes.
Okay. So it's in stores nationwide?
Not in stores.
But online.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And if you want to know what the book looks like, it's like this.
And that is me and my baby girl on the cover.
Yep. And on the back it says, "My daughter saved my life.
That's the first line in the book.
Memoirs of a Birth Mother by Angela Appleby." So make sure you all check that out, because I mean it's very rare that you actually see an author actually read a nice. Now, was that a whole chapter? Or
That was a piece of the end of it.
Okay, a piece of the book. And here we go. That's why I said it was like a movie. I agree, because you can actually, you actually saw yourself, watching this whole thing.
Right.
And like a good author draws you in, and a good author puts you in a seat and shows you what's going on in their minds.
Right.
And you did that.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
That's the whole point
of
writing it.
Well, we thank you for actually coming in here and doing this. And it says, oh, here we go. Love you and the book. You're doing so great. Sarah,
That's my daughter.
That's your daughter?
Yes.
Oh man. So your daughter's actually on here watching the show.
Yes.
Well, hello, Sarah, and thank you for being an inspiration to your mom's book. See that? See what? See, very powerful show. We very, very powerful. Look at that, man.
And none of this was
No,
talked
of
about.
course not. No, no. This is all organic.
Thank you, Sarah, for tuning in.
Yeah, yeah, for real. That's what. Yeah, that caught me by surprise too. Yeah. So you have your daughter actually watching, and she actually was listening to you read a piece of the book that she inspired you on. So those of you who are watching, this is a very powerful broadcast today. You know, and I thoroughly recommend that you go out and you pick up this book. It says you did amazing, Lisa Dwyer.
That's my sister-in-law.
Sister-in-law. Okay, I said the last name right?
Yes.
Okay, making sure I'm. Hi, she inspires me to be better myself. Your daughter said that. Yep.
Aw.
Inspiration goes both
Don't
ways.
make me cry.
Now your husband said, "Good job, honey." Now a good idea. I don't know. Maybe a part 2.
A part 2.
Yeah, maybe you and your daughter can co-author, like a second part. Part 2.
We'll see.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe.
Just like your husband said, every good movie needs a sequel. I gotta agree with him on the movie thing.
Yeah, but I'm not one for sequels. I like original.
You like original?
Nothing.
Okay, I got you. Okay. Well,
We'll see.
yeah. But just a thought. But the good thing about it is we do know that, this story has a happy ending.
Right.
And we just saw the happy ending right here on the show. I mean, we have a family supporting you.
And I appreciate each and every one of them.
Mm-hmm. And I'm sure. I mean, there's a lot of love here. If you're on the Facebook live stream, check out some of those comments. I mean, it's like that's what we need. We need that inspiration to keep going, because you're telling your story.
Right.
And sometimes when you're telling your story, you wonder, should I even be doing this? But then you look behind you and you see all these people behind you saying, yes, go ahead, we got you.
Right.
We got you.
A lot of times I think it's me projecting on myself my past whatever issues. A lot of times I do feel I should just give this up.
Right.
And then I'll have somebody come up to me and be like, when I do my open mic nights, be like, oh my God, that was so good. And I'm like, okay, I need to keep doing this because, and it's nice to know that you've got family out there that really is there for you.
And when's the next time you're going to do an open mic night?
What's today?
Today is the 6th, November 6th. Yeah.
We just did one. The first and the third Sunday of the month at 6 o'clock. And then there's the last Thursday of the month, and then last Friday of the month also.
Okay. And that's the Steele's Books?
Yes, Steele's Used Books.
And that's up in
The North.
North Kansas City?
Yeah.
Okay. Downtown North Kansas City?
No, it's North Kansas City area.
Okay. Yeah, right. It's like right around the corner from
CBS.
And Tapcade too. It's Tapcade there also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's across the street.
Yeah, I went up there to Steele's Books before, and typical old school bookstore. You walk up in there and there's piles and piles of books.
And the first time I went in there, I was like, okay, I'm really going to do this whole writing thing. But I realized very early on I need to start getting in the community. And the first time I walked in there, I'm like, oh my God, I'm home. Because you feel like you're home. You found your place. And I need to start branching out to the rest of the community so people know who I am.
Yeah.
But
well, you got a good start here.
Right. But yeah, that's my home.
And the good thing I like about Steele's is when you're sitting down next to a person, you can look to your right and you'll see a pile of books sitting right next to you. Yeah. So
if you don't have nothing to read, just pick one up.
Right. See, you're getting to know people and you're getting to know a good book.
Right.
So I need to go back up there too because I'm just curious. I like Steele's and I like Prospero's.
I've never actually went to. I've been to the bookstore, but I've never actually been to a reading or anything.
Yeah, I went. Yeah. Prospero's is pretty cool. It says here. Oh, we got a text message. It says, "Just tuned in. I'm on YouTube. Good book for a book club to read. I feel we all can relate and gain something from her book."
Great idea for a book club.
Yeah. Book club book. So if there's anyone out there that has a book club, whether it's you or Oprah, Check out Memoirs of a Birth Mother by
And if
Mrs.
you know
Angela Appleby.
Oprah, tell her to buy my book.
Oh, Oprah's watching. She's watching. Yeah, yeah, yeah. She's checking it out. Hello, Oprah. It's Tyrone.
Well, she can afford the book, so.
Right. I know, right? Yeah. I mean, Oprah, while you're out there, campaigning and stuff, and you're waiting on your friend to get the job as governor, you can sit down and read this book.
And then campaign my book.
There you go. You're not doing anything else, Oprah. Yeah. Help a sister out.
Yes, please.
Yeah. So before we end the show, are there any shout outs? And of course, I want you to plug your book again too.
Shout outs.
Yeah, like you want to say hi to anybody?
I don't think I've said it to everybody.
Okay.
I know Sarah's watching, so thank you, and I love you, and give the baby a kiss for me, and thank you, Jason. I love you.
All right, and what's this? Mom says this was a great interview. Lisa Dwyer.
That's her mom.
Mother-in-law.
Watching it, yeah.
Okay.
His mom.
His mom. Okay.
And sister.
All right, there it is. Oh, mail book to Oprah.
If you give me her address, I will do that.
I don't know. I just take it over there. Yeah, I just go up there and I'll be like, all right, Oprah, I'm coming in. I got a book. Now let me stop before she really watching and she can try to figure out who this dude is. Sounding crazy. All right, so Mary Moore, it's a wonderful story, and I believe it's going to touch and heal a lot of hearts. Congratulations. And you're right. Thank you. And on my closing note, I do want to say that writing is, not only is writing an art form, but writing is also a healing mechanism too. If there is something on your heart or something you want to get out, write it down. You never know. The story that you're sharing might be a story that can inspire or even save someone else's life. I am Tyrone Gethers Jr., and my guest is Mrs. Angela Appleby, the author of Memoirs of a Birth Mother. You can find it on Barnes & Noble as well as Amazon. So please check it out. This is the source of the Inkwell. And remember, in the Inkwell, just like ink, education can overflow. And when it does, it's permanent. Let it stick. God bless. See you next week. Yeah, we're all done.